This is Dan White, the founder and administrator of the U Football Fan Group. Thanks for watching. I'm at the picnic pavilion at the Columbia County Park close to my home in Apley. It's a beautiful place. In fact, there's a mom and a daughter playing now. I think they're having a picnic lunch too here behind me in the picnic shelter. To my right is a wonderful ball field, and circling this area is a walking track. My wife and I just walked 2 miles this morning along with our shelties. To my left is a sliding board and one of those playground type things. In front of me is a sanded volleyball court. Behind me is some more kiddie things that the children enjoy. To my left is the fire station, and further down from that in the same building is a community center where we celebrated my 65th birthday. I'm 71 now, and that was a lot of fun. And then on past the community center in the same building over this way is the EMT ambulance. So this is a very popular place, and I wanted to come and show you a little bit about our community center here and our park, as well as to talk about the U. Today I'm going to do a video on the two coaches facing off this Saturday at 4 o'clock on the ACC network at Hard Rock Stadium. North Carolina coach Mack Brown is a good old Southern boy from Cooksville, Tennessee. He's been around the block a few times, like a wily old fox. He and I are the same age, 71. Miami coach Mario Cristobal is the son of Cuban immigrants. He was born in Miami and is bilingual, speaking fluent Spanish.
Aquí, ser un coach aquí también es un honor a regresar y poder trabajar con nuestros coaches.
And English. He's 52. Cristobal reminds me of a mathematician. He's precise and exact, and like a mathematician can figure out complex formulas, like in calculus, Cristobal can figure out the complexities of football. I think Miami's fortunate to have him. But first of all, we'll take a look at Coach Mack Brown. In high school, Brown was an all-state running back and was selected as one of the nation's top backs by Scholastic magazine. At the end of his senior year, the Tennessean newspaper selected him as Tennessee's State Player of the Year. Mack Brown was a running back for Vanderbilt and transferred to FSU, where he graduated in 1973. He played under Coach Larry Jones. They went 0-11. At FSU, he rushed 31 times for 10 yards and had 10 pass receptions for 76 yards and no touchdowns. He lettered twice for the Seminoles and became a graduate assistant after 5 knee surgeries, which ended his playing days. In his first stint with the Tar Heels, he had 2 consecutive 1-10 seasons. But the administration stuck with him. That was the worst 2 seasons that Carolina has had in modern times. 1-10, 1-10, but the administration stayed with him and believed in him in his rebuilding program. And it paid off. In his next 2 seasons, Brown turned it around. They went 6-4-1 in 1990. The Tar Heels had only won 7 games in the previous 3 years. But that tie with Georgia Tech, which you probably will remember, cost the Yellow Jackets the national championship. They went on and tied with Colorado for national championship honors. They were co-champions. In 1991, North Carolina went 7-4 but missed a bowl bid. However, in 1992, everything finally came together. They finished 8-3 and came in second in the ACC conference. That was in the days before it was divided into the Coastal and Atlantic. They beat Mississippi State in the Peach Bowl 21-7, and it was North Carolina's first bowl appearance since 1986 and their first bowl win since 1982. They finished that year in the top 25 for the first time since 1982. That 1992 season began the Tar Heels' most successful period since the 1940s. Brown led Carolina to 5 consecutive bowl games, including 3 New Year's Bowl games in more than half a century. They were ranked in the top 25 every week from October 1992 through the start of the 1995 season. They appeared in the top 10 twice. They had 10-win seasons in 1993 and again in 1997, which was only the second and third times they accomplished this. The roadblock to winning the ACC championship, can you guess who it was? It was Bobby Bowden's FSU. The largest crowd to watch a college game in North Carolina history was at Kenan Stadium against FSU in 1997. 62,000 cheered for their Heels, but FSU won 20-13. Brown is now in his second stint as the North Carolina coach. He was there from 1998 to 1997 in his first go-round. Shortly after the 97 season, Brown left for Texas, where he guided the Longhorns to a national championship at the Rose Bowl against the University of Southern California. His Longhorns beat the Trojans 41-38 on the strong arm of quarterback Vince Young in the final minutes. After several more successful seasons at Texas, they played for another national championship against the Alabama Crimson Tide in 2009, but the Tide dominated that one and won 37-21. Brown then resigned from Texas on December 14, 2013. He went into the ESPN broadcast booth, but the old soldier had some fight left in him. North Carolina came calling him again, and on November the 27th in 2018, he was named the Tar Heels head coach. On his first game back, he led North Carolina to an upset win over the South Carolina Gamecocks 24-20 in Charlotte on August 31st, 2019. In 2020, Carolina played in the Orange Bowl, which was their first major bowl appearance since, get this, their first major bowl appearance since 1949. Carolina lost to Texas A&M 41-27. Last year, Brown signed his second consecutive top 15 recruiting class. Brown's 244 career wins are the 10th most in FBS history, and his 69 victories with North Carolina are tied for the second most in school history. Miami has lost the last 3 games against this good old boy coach. Now, I'll look at our coach, Mario Cristobal. Like a mathematician, he had a multitude of problems to solve when he took over Miami. Advanced calculus, anyone? He could figure it out, that's for sure. You all know that he played at Miami from 1989 to 1992 on national title winning teams in 1989 and 1991. Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, was a teammate. Of course, The Rock is now a movie star. Former coach from Georgia, Mark Richt, was hired to coach the Canes. He was a backup quarterback at Miami, and Richt is the second winningest coach for Georgia next to Vince Dooley. He has a 196 win and 145 loss record. That is a 740 winning percentage. Richt came on board for Miami in 2016 and retired for health reasons in 2018. He later revealed that he had Parkinson's disease. He's now on the ESPN or the ACC network as a pundit. Richt was named the ACC Coach of the Year in 2017, having led Miami to win the Coastal Division, which so far is their only Coastal Division title. He led the Canes to a 10-3 record that year, but got hammered by Clemson in the ACC Championship game in Charlotte on December the 2nd, 2017. I was there, and oh boy, was that painful to watch. Richt's 3-year record at Miami is 26-13. Now, after Richt, and with no national coaching search, Miami hired Richt's defensive coordinator, Manny Diaz. Manny's 3-year record was 21-15. Restless fans and alumni were clamoring for him to be fired. Their patience quickly ran out, and Diaz was terminated on December the 6th, 2021. Later that same day, Miami announced the hiring of Mario Cristobal, who was waiting for the hammer to drop. You may not know this, but Mario played in the NFL. Yes, from 1995 to 1996. Now, no, it wasn't in the NFL United States. It was in Europe on a team sponsored by the NFL. It was the Amsterdam Netherlands Admirals. He played for them from 1995 to 1996. That fizzled, and he returned to Miami as a graduate assistant from 2001 to 2002. Next, he was an assistant at Rutgers from 2003 to 2005, coaching the offensive line. Then it was back to Miami as an assistant from 2006 to 2012 under coaches Larry Coker, Randy Shannon, interim coach Jeff Stoutland, and Al Golden. His first head coaching job came at FIU in 2007, after the Panthers had come off 5 years of probation. They lost scholarships and were absolutely the worst program in America. They had gone 0-12. Cristobal had a monumental task ahead. It was not building from the ground up, but it was building from a hole in the ground. But he was up for the challenge. In his first year, they actually won a game. In 2008, they won 5. In 2009, they went backwards, winning 3 games. Then it was 7 wins and 8 wins and a Sun Belt championship. He was on a roll. It was one of the fastest turnarounds in college football history. They went to bowl games for the first time ever, and Sports Illustrated wrote that he established a rock-solid foundation to build upon. But in 2012, FIU went backwards to 3-9 due to an unfortunate string of injuries. Both their quarterback and their top running back suffered injuries, and they suffered 5 losses by just one score. After the 3-9 season, he was fired by A.D. Pete Garcia. Now, I'm a man that doesn't cuss, but if I was a cussing man, I'd cuss out Pete Garcia. He is the sorriest AD director, I think, that ever bore the title. He developed the reputation of being the worst athletic director in the nation, and he finally resigned. Previously, Cristobal had turned down head coaching offers at Pitt and Rutgers to stay and build the FIU program, which he was doing until that idiot fired him. But Cristobal's firing from FIU turned out to be a blessing for him. After being forced to leave, he went to work for one of the winningest college football coaches in history, Nick Saban at Alabama. Saban's record is 183 wins against 25 losses. That's an astonishing 880 winning percentage. He's been to 21 bowl games and won 15 of them. He's won 8 SEC championships, and count them. He's won 6 national championships. Cristobal was the offensive line coach for Nick Saban, and he was the recruiting coordinator, and worked under Saban would be the recharge that he needed. Mario would become one of the elite recruiters in the nation. He signed 7 5-star players while he was there. And Bama went 51-6 during the 4 seasons he was there. The Tide won the 2015 national championship and played for another national championship in 2016 while Mario was there. While at Bama, Cristobal won the Joe Moore Award for the best offensive line. Many voters shared how impressed they were with the physicality and athleticism of the Crimson Tide's offensive line unit coached by Mario Cristobal, said Aaron Taylor, CBS Sports college football analyst and chairman of the voting committee. The film shows them exploding off of the ball, he said, getting to the second level and working to finish plays, which is the hallmark. It's the hallmark of outstanding offensive line play. In 2017, Mario heard the call. Go West, young man. He packed his bags for Oregon to become co-offensive coordinator and offensive line coach under Willie Taggart. When Taggart left Oregon for FSU, Oregon named Coach Cristobal as their head coach. Immediately, the team improved from 7-5 under Taggart's 1 year to 9-4 under Cristobal's first year. Under Cristobal, the Ducks went 35-13 overall and 25-9 in the Pac-12. Quack, quack. That was the most wins in Pac-12 history over a 3-year span. Amazing. He led the Quack Attack to 2 consecutive Pac-12 titles. He had the Pac-12's top recruiting classes in 2019, in 2020, and again in 2021. He recruited and coached 4 Outland Trophy winners. Ranked 5th in the nation, the Ducks won the Rose Bowl in 2019 with a 28-27 victory over Wisconsin, and he was named by the AP as Pac-12 Coach of the Year. Oregon ended that season ranked 5th in the nation. The following year, Oregon appeared in the Fiesta Bowl, losing to number 12 Iowa State 34-17. Oregon was ranked 25th. Now, after 4 games at Miami is 2-2 and faces a pass-happy North Carolina this Saturday at 4 o'clock at Hard Rock Stadium. It will be televised on the ACC network. See my YouTube video for my game preview for that game. It's in our U Football fan group. Thanks so much for watching, and go Canes!